The thing is though, there are going to be some songs that are written in minor, but the key signature is going to look the same, whether it's in major or minor. And you're not really going to know unless you look at the song. But what I want to show you is if we have a key, so say we have B, E, A. I kind of drew that one crazy again. I'm drawing some crazy flats. But anyway, if you have this key signature, again, this could be major or minor. So let's first figure out what the major or the minor would be. Now this is flat, so we said, what was the rule? Second to last flat. So the major would be E flat. Now, the way that the minor scale works, let me show you here real quick. If we have E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, and then E flat. We walked home when we walked home. If you actually started on that 6th scale degree, so if we started on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if we started right on that 6th scale degree, let's look at what the pattern would be. It would be, we heard we will have warm weather. So what is that the pattern for? That's the pattern for the natural minor. So when we start on the 6th scale degree, meaning we're playing these exact same notes, we're still playing the same E flat, A flat, and B flat, but we're starting on C and still playing that same E flat, and then returning back to C, we kind of just changed the order of the sharps and flats, and it's going to sound minor now. So that means that the related key, or the relative minor key of every major, is the same thing as the 6th scale degree. So this key signature here either represents E major, and you would usually notate that with a capital M, or C minor, which you'll often see with a lowercase m. Again, key signature looks the same. The song could be in E major, E flat major, or the song could be in C minor. The way you're usually going to know that, sometimes it actually would be titled minor, nocturne, or whatever. You can think about whether the song sounds that if you're listening to it, if you're not familiar with reading music. If you look at the starting and ending note of the song, usually that's a clue, because a lot of times the song starts and ends on the tonic, as we did in our projects. And once we learn about chords, you'll be able to notate and look at what those chords are. If the triads are mostly in minor at the beginning and the end, that would tell you whether it's in a major or a minor key. But for now, all that you're going to need to be able to do is identify the major key that it could be, or the relative minor. So again, it's the 6th scale degree. Now, this 6th scale degree is a plain old C. If my 6th scale degree happened to be a flatted or sharped note in whatever key I'm in, then you're going to have a sharp or a flat on that minor key note, okay? Now, the way that I do it, I don't really count up to the 6th scale degree when I figure out my relative minor. What I do is I count down 3 half steps from the tonic. Because what that does, since from my tonic, if I counted down that half and whole, it's the same as 3 half steps. It's just kind of a faster way to do it. It's getting you to the same answer. So let's do a couple of these out loud and see if we can figure out those relative minor key signatures. F, C, G sharp. Okay, so if this is my key signature, let's first figure out what the major would be. So the major here would be, okay, wait, the sharps, what was the trick again? Last sharp to the right, go up a half step. So if my last sharp to the right is G sharp, my key for my major, I go up a half step from that G sharp. So my major key would be A major. So my scale would be A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp. A, from A to A. Remember, if we start on the 6th scale degree, we then would have the we heard we will have warm weather thingy. So that 6th scale degree is my relative minor. So you can just go like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that scale degree right there is an F, but don't forget, it's actually an F sharp. So the key that is the relative minor of A major is F sharp minor. If you did this by counting down half steps from A, you would count down a half step, you would count down 3 half steps from A. You would end on a black key, and you would have your choice. That would either be F sharp or G flat. Now, number one, how would you figure out whether it was the minor key of F sharp or G flat? If you had your choice of F sharp or G flat, number one, do you think that the minor key would be called G flat but have sharps in it? Probably not. Also, that if you're ever confused, if you do it the 3 half step way, which I think is pretty easy, if you're ever confused, figure it out and think, well, which is the 6th letter of the scale? It's not G, because G is the 2nd to last, which would be the 7th. So it's going to be that F sharp. Okay? So you can either count up to the 6th. Don't forget. Count up to 6. I said that right. Count up to the 6th. Don't forget, if that 6th has a sharp or a flat on it within the key signature, that's what the 6th scale degree is. If you count down 3 half steps, it's pretty easy. But if you end on a black key and you're not sure which one to choose the letter that is the 6th letter in the scale. If it's a flatted key, that's a flatted major key, choose the flat. If it's a sharp key, choose the one that's the sharp, and your relative minor will be accurate.